This is our final interview of the day. I've got with me Nick again. I've got Barry from Hacked, and of course I've got Leslie. And really just want to sort of sum up the day as it's been so far. Obviously there's still another 8 hours or so to go of Housing Day, so keep your tweets going. But Leslie, how do you feel it's gone so far, and do you feel as though it's achieved what you hoped it would have achieved?
It's really hard to tell because we've been really, really busy here in the Live at Hacked newsroom, and I thought it's gone really well here. I think we've captured some really good things, but it's really hard when you're doing it to actually be able to watch it as a bystander. So actually having the chance to look at what's been happening in the conversations will be interesting later on. And I think what I would like to see is that the tenant voice has really, really come through this year more than other years, and that we've been able to penetrate that. And I think there has been that, and so I think it's a really good start. I would say.
Absolutely. There has been thousands of tweets. We're aware of that. Nick.
I think it's pretty exciting. I think it's, you guys took this on at quite short notice, and I think you've done a pretty fantastic job with it. Actually, I mean, what I've seen of it feels very chaotic but quite lively. So that's a good thing.
Welcome to that.
A lot of exciting discussion going on.
Do you feel that Twitter is not necessarily a natural home?
Well, I think that one of the things we were discussing was that there's an issue to do with tenants getting involved with it. Because myself and Leslie, we were talking about some great tenants who could have participated in some of the sessions, but they don't use Twitter. That's the problem. Is a lot of tenants don't really use Twitter, and so I think you inherited this kind of format, and I think perhaps then in quite short notice, and there needs to be some thinking about doing it using a different format next year. But I mean, what the hell, I mean, and it's great the interview with the housing minister and stuff. Who could have imagined all these things happening even 6 months ago? Quite frankly, I mean, it's a major step forward. Hopefully things will come of it that are really good. So congratulations to you. It's great stuff. Well done, Leslie, particularly.
Thank you, Nick.
Barry, thoughts on the day?
It's been quite interesting for me because I've kind of been sat reading through the Twitter and stuff, and it has brought a lot of stuff out, particularly stuff that interests me about communities and people and things like that. And then, like I say, in the past, it has been a lot more led by housing organisations. It's been a lot more bricks and mortar, if you see what I mean. Whereas this year, it's been a lot more housing associations saying, look, we've done this with our residents, or speak to our residents who got involved with this project. So although I agree it hasn't had it could have more tenant involvement, I think the focus has been housing association in what they've done for tenants rather than just check out our new development in such and such a borough. Although there have been some that have kind of been about that, but that's part and parcel of their business. So I think that's fair enough. But there's been a lot of stuff, and I've read some really interesting projects today while I've been scanning through it that I think otherwise wouldn't have come to light, but people have said, right, what have we been doing? What have we done? Have we got good examples of this that we can
I think
share?
the interesting thing that we were talking about in the green room was about mayors and their social stuff that they do, which is quite hidden. So did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, because so I'm involved with mayors. I sit on their social value panel, and I was really surprised when I got involved with them at how much they do that's above and beyond what they need to do. Really surprised, and I kind of said it's actually not about what you're doing, it's about how you get that message across, because I wouldn't know that, and actually I worked for an organisation that were a MERS customer and I didn't see it. So I think sometimes with organisations, they could, whether they're supply chain or housing, they could probably get better at demonstrating what they do without it seeming like, I think the worry is it seems like they're sort of, a beacon of their own virtue. It's not virtue signalling. I think, if you're doing something good, share it, because then other people can copy it and other people can steal your ideas. And great, if it's a great idea, brilliant, we'll flood the world with it. But I do think people like I say, you wouldn't consider MERS to be a socially conscious organisation instinctively, because they're kind of part of that supply chain, that private sector supply chain. But actually, once you get involved, so I think it was a good platform for getting that kind of message across, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, Housing Day is always evolving. There is this opportunity with the Green Paper in terms of taking the tenant voice forward. How would you like to see the next 12 months go in terms of the tenant voice itself, but also how that can ultimately result itself in a different sort of housing day for next year?
To keep a housing minister?
That'd be usually.
I mean, that would be like,
For 5 minutes.
I know Kit has said that the housing ministers at the moment have the lifespan of a gnat fly, and I'd like to have their life extended a little bit more so they can actually get their head around the brief,
Yeah.
and not just be such a transitory position, because I think it is such a hot topic. So that for me would be the number one thing, to have some stability. I mean, the civil servants have stayed, the actual ministry has stayed the same, so we've been able to keep up that continuity. But other than that, having a minister more than, to be able to see this through. Kit talked yesterday about hopefully having the social housing green paper turned into a white paper by the spring of next year. That was his anticipated timeline. I hope that he's the one that delivers it.
Yeah.
That would be really something, I think. So there's mainly, that for me is like keeping the continuity so that we can develop the relationships to move the conversation forward, because you got to start keeping, start new again and fresh.
Yeah.
It can stall things a little bit.
So this time next year we'll have set up a voice for tenants, we'll have sorted out the regulator, and the regulator's going to be properly doing what it should be doing.
With teeth.
Yeah, and all that business. That's going to change all landlords by this time next year.
Where's the magic wand? We
Yeah,
had to get the
yeah,
magic
yeah,
wand
yeah.
in here.
And we're going to set up lots more community-led housing.
Okay.
Okay, so it'll be a completely different world next
Yeah,
year,
absolutely.
but
Look forward to
yeah,
that.
maybe a little longer than a year. But I mean, I think this Housing Day thing should be done by tenants
Yeah.
next year and focused on tenants, and with other people popping in
Yeah.
as appropriate, and great, getting the housing minister and stuff, and John Healy was doing something
Mhm,
and
yeah.
stuff. It's great having all those people and stuff, and Terry Halifax,
Mhm.
but we need more tenants doing stuff. But I think you've done great with what you've done this year.
I think therein lies the issue. If there's how do we engage? We couldn't get enough tenants involved, etc. Well, then the problem is how do we engage those tenants in the first place? So if it is experimenting with different channels, different methods, different whatever, then there's an opportunity to try that and
Yeah.
to make that happen. But it's an
Yeah,
ongoing
yeah.
learning process. It's not just going to happen because someone decides it's going to happen. It'll take work.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think on that note, we could probably wrap it up. A big thanks to everyone that's been involved. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Do you want to say any personal thanks, Leslie?
No, just everyone that has helped behind the scenes. You, John, have been my wingman, and seriously, without your help, it would have been so much harder. And Tony, Stacey, and We're Resource, and Mears, and just everyone that has just donated their time and energy. Hacked. I just started last week at Hacked, and I said to Drew, "Can we do this live thing?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't know what that means, but yeah, just you kind of go for it." And they've just, Matthew behind the camera, and David, and just everyone that has just embraced today.
Chiquita the tweeter in the corner.
And Sarita Marie, just everyone that has come by and just kind of supported this, let's just see what we can do. And, it's been Housing Day. So it's just
And you've done a great job. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
You've done an absolutely
Alright.
brilliant job.
Keep
It wouldn't have happened
tweeting.
without you doing what you've done.
Exactly. Good stuff. Thank you,
Alright.
everybody.
Thanks, guys.
That's great.